Before you touch your wallet tomorrow morning, stop. Just for one breath. Because what if the real problem is not that money avoids you, but that you meet it the wrong way from the very first minute of the day? Most people wake up already tense, already behind, already telling themselves the same old story. Not enough. Not yet. Not me. And then they wonder why every bill feels heavier, why every payment vanishes fast, why peace never stays in the room for long. But there is an old morning practice built around salt water, light and intention that changes the way you enter the day. Not with panic, with presence. Not with fantasy, with focus. And before you laugh, stay with me, because this is where people miss the point. The power is not in a strange object. It is not in superstition. It is in the pattern, the pause, the message you send your own mind before stress gets the first word. In the next few minutes, I'm going to walk you through this practice in a way that is simple, vivid, and easy to follow. I will show you what each step means, why it matters, and how to use it so it feels grounded, not theatrical. And do not skip ahead, because one small part changes the whole energy of it. If you have ever felt like money enters your life carrying tension, confusion, and pressure, then listen closely. What comes next may look small, but small things repeated with intention can quietly change everything. For most of my life, I studied old teachings about work, provision, gratitude, discipline, and the hidden connection between inner order and outer results. I learned very early that money is never just paper, numbers, or coins. Money carries emotion. It carries memory. It carries fear when you chase it with desperation. And it carries steadiness when you meet it with clarity. That truth did not hit me all at once. It grew through daily practice, through repetition, through watching how tiny acts shape huge outcomes over time. What I am sharing with you is not meant to replace effort, planning, skill, or common sense. It is meant to sharpen them, to aim them, to clean the fog out of them. This ritual turns your first contact with money into a signal to your mind that lack does not run the day, a signal to your habits that waste will not lead the day, a signal to your whole body that you are ready to receive, ready to act, and ready to protect what enters your life. And listen carefully here, because this matters more than people think. The strength of the ritual is not in doing something dramatic one time. The strength is in doing something intentional the same way again and again until your whole relationship with money begins to shift from fear to steadiness. That is when choices change. That is when your attention sharpens. That is when you stop reacting to money like an emergency and start handling it like a responsibility. Keep listening, because now the deeper part begins. I first learned this practice when I was young, only days after a serious season of reflection and silence. I was taken into a quiet room filled with old books, soft light, and the kind of stillness that makes every word feel heavier. The person teaching me looked at me for a long moment and then said something so simple that it took years for me to fully understand it. We do not live by chasing money like frightened people. We learn to become the kind of people who can hold it, guide it, and use it well. At first I thought it sounded beautiful, maybe even wise, but not practical. I thought money was simple. You earn it, you spend it, you save what you can. End of story. But then I was shown old ideas that treated livelihood as something deeper, something shaped by discipline, blessing, attention, and the condition of the heart. These were not delicate ideas. They had survived hard times, loss, rebuilding, exile, hunger, and years when people had every reason to give up. And I was told two things. Practice this every day you can, and when the time comes, pass it on clearly, not carelessly. So listen now with full attention. The first time I followed this method with real focus, I was broke in the most exhausting way. The kind of broke where every small expense feels like danger. I tried all the usual things: applications, plans, extra work, pushing harder, asking for help and hating the feeling of needing it. Nothing opened. Then one morning I remembered the teaching exactly as it had been given. I got the salt. I prepared the water. I woke before sunrise. I followed every step without rushing and without changing it to fit my mood. And within days something shifted. An old payment I had forgotten about arrived. Then another opportunity appeared through someone I barely knew. Was that magic? Maybe not in the dramatic way people use that word, but it felt like a locked door had finally become visible because my fear was quieter and my attention was sharper. That is the part many people miss. Sometimes a ritual changes what comes toward you. Sometimes it changes what you notice, what you answer, what you dare to accept, and what you stop pushing away. Either way, movement begins, and when movement begins, life can change very fast. I know what money pressure feels like in the body. It is heavy before breakfast. It is loud even in a silent room. It follows you to work, into your sleep, into conversations about the future, into simple moments that should have been peaceful. You keep thinking maybe one more push will fix it. One more shift, one more side job, one more month of surviving carefully. And yes, effort matters, skill matters, decisions matter. But many people work hard while carrying chaos inside them. They touch money with guilt, resentment, panic, and secret shame. Then they wonder why every gain leaks away. Old wisdom says livelihood begins deeper than the visible surface. Modern language might call it mindset, emotional conditioning, nervous system patterning, or attention training. Use whatever words you want. The truth does not change. If your inner world is trained for loss, your outer habits often follow. If your first thought about money each day is fear, your choices become tight, reactive, and scattered. This ritual interrupts that pattern. It uses physical action to create a reset. Salt for cleansing and preserving, water for flow, morning light for renewal, hands for action, wallet for contact, words for direction, repetition for power. Do not miss that last one. Repetition is where weak hope turns into disciplined belief, and disciplined belief starts changing behavior in ways that actually produce results. So let me give you the method in a clear and simple way. Do not overcomplicate it. Do not try to improve it on the first day. Tonight, place about 1 teaspoon of coarse sea salt into a small glass or ceramic bowl. If possible, avoid regular table salt. Sea salt is better because it feels raw, natural, less processed, more alive in the hand. As you place it in the bowl, take one quiet moment and say, either aloud or in a whisper, that this salt stands for cleansing, protection, and the removal of lack. Then leave it there overnight in a safe place. When you wake up, do this before food, before scrolling, before noise enters your day. A little water is fine if you need it, but keep the moment clean. Wash your hands 3 times, alternating left and right, then dry them fully. If you can, stand near a window or face the direction of the sunrise so morning light can reach you. Take a few deep breaths. Slow down on purpose. Let your shoulders drop. Let yesterday step out of your chest. This part matters more than people think. If you are rushing, angry, distracted, or bitter, pause until you can settle. A ritual done in chaos often feeds more chaos. A ritual done in focus becomes a container that can actually hold intention. Once you feel steady, take the bowl in both hands and hold it at heart level. This is the point where the day begins to feel different. With the bowl in your hands, think clearly about what you are asking for. Not a wild fantasy, not a desperate blur. Be direct. Stable income, relief from constant stress, wisdom to manage what already enters your life, courage to say yes to the right opportunity. Hold that intention clearly. Then slowly pour in about half a cup of clean water, preferably filtered or spring water if you have it. Pour with care. As the water meets the salt, say words like these in simple English. As this water and salt come together, let peace and abundance come together in my life. As this mixture cleanses, let fear and lack leave me. As the light rises, let my opportunities rise too. You do not need fancy language. You need sincerity. Then stir the mixture clockwise 7 times with your right index finger. Slowly, not like you are mixing a drink, like you are sealing a promise. While you stir, picture your bills being paid on time. Picture yourself checking messages without dread. Picture money arriving through honest work, wise choices, timely openings, and doors you are finally ready to walk through. Picture yourself becoming calm with money, not obsessed with it, not ruled by it, not frightened by it. That image matters. This is not only about getting more, it is about becoming someone who can keep, direct, and multiply what comes. Stay in that image for a moment. Do not rush it. This is where intention becomes action in the mind before it becomes action in life. Next, place both hands into the salt water and leave them there for at least 30 seconds. Feel the coolness. Feel the weight of the moment. Think about what your hands do every day. They earn, they sign, they give, they receive, they build, they repair, they spend, they hold, they open doors, they close deals, they clean up mistakes, they create your future one choice at a time. Then lift your hands out, but do not dry them fully. Let a little moisture remain. Take your wallet or the object that most directly represents the money you use every day and hold it gently between your palms. If you mostly use digital payments, still keep a physical wallet and place at least 1 bill inside. Physical contact matters here. While holding it, say something like this. This is a vessel for steady provision. This carries honest money, wise money, protected money. I welcome income. I keep what is useful. I release waste. I act with clarity. Say it with quiet conviction. No drama. No performance. Just truth spoken calmly. Then place the wallet where the first morning light can touch it. A windowsill is enough. Direct sunrise is ideal, but soft morning light works too. Leave it there for about 10 minutes. As the light touches it, take the remaining water and pour it into the earth if possible, or down a drain with gratitude. And yes, gratitude matters. Not fake gratitude, real gratitude. Gratitude for breath, for another day, for the chance to start differently, for the fact that change is still possible. After that, go on with your day, but go on differently. This is where many people break the flow. They do the ritual and then jump right back into old panic. Do not do that. Keep your speech clean for the next few hours. Avoid saying things like, I am doomed, I am always broke, nothing ever works for me, money never stays, I can't catch a break. Those words pull against what you just set in motion. Instead, watch carefully. In the first day, you may notice something subtle. A lighter feeling, less dread, more calm when checking your account, a little more courage when answering emails, making calls, or speaking about work. In the next few days, stay alert to ordinary openings. A delayed payment may finally appear. A forgotten refund may return. A person may mention an opportunity. A conversation you almost ignored may suddenly matter. Here's the key. Do not sit back and wait for the sky to split open. Meet the ritual halfway. Answer the phone. Send the email. Follow up. Revisit the idea you buried because fear told you it was too late. This is important, so stay with me. Some people call these things coincidences. Maybe they are. But a life can change through a chain of well-timed coincidences, especially when your mind is finally trained to notice them and your body is no longer frozen by fear. That is why this practice works best when it is not treated like superstition, but like a reset that sharpens awareness and steadies action. There are also warnings, and you should take them seriously. Do not do this while feeding hatred, jealousy, revenge, or the wish to see someone else fall. A heart full of poison makes every prayer heavy. If you are angry, admit it first. If you are bitter, breathe through it first. If someone hurt you, do not pretend you are fine, but do not carry that fire into this ritual. Clear what you can before you begin. Another warning, do not perform something meaningful and then rush to people who only want to laugh at it. Protect the quiet of the practice for a while. Let it settle inside you. And do not treat this like a one-time stunt. The old rhythm is consistency. Once a week is good. The same morning each week is even better. 40 days of steady practice can create a real shift because repetition teaches the body and the mind that you are serious. But listen carefully. You must add practical action to it. Cut one useless expense. Track one leak. Save one small amount. Finish one overdue task. Apply to one real opportunity. Ask for one fair rate. Review one bill. Clean up one money habit that keeps draining you. Respect the money you already have, even if it feels too small to matter, because people who disrespect small amounts often mishandle larger ones too. This part is massive. Ritual without action becomes fantasy. Action without interchange becomes exhaustion. Together they become power. And if this is making sense, keep going with me because the deepest layer is still ahead. Before money arrives in visible form, it often exists as possibility, timing, connection, permission, courage, skill, attention, and readiness. People think they are waiting only for cash, but sometimes what they truly need first is the removal of inner static. They need to stop shrinking in the presence of opportunity. They need to stop speaking as if defeat is their identity. They need to stop making fearful choices that keep proving the same old story. This ritual with salt and water may look simple, but simple does not mean weak. In fact, the strongest daily practices are often the ones that seem almost too small to matter. That is why people skip them. They want something loud, complex, and dramatic. But life is usually changed by what is repeated in private. A quiet bowl, a clean intention, morning light, hands on a wallet, a few honest words, then one better choice, then another, then another. Over time, your relationship with money stops being only survival. It becomes stewardship. It becomes awareness. It becomes discipline. It becomes peace. And peace is not a small thing. A calm mind handles income better. A clear mind spots value faster. A steady person negotiates better, saves better, plans better, and wastes less energy on fear. Once you understand that, you understand why this practice can reach far beyond the few minutes it takes to perform. Later in life, I learned this lesson again in a humbling way. There was a season when I became too busy helping others and slowly neglected my own practice. I told myself I already knew enough. I told myself this ritual was for people still trying to find their footing. I stopped doing it regularly. Nothing collapsed overnight. That is how drift works. It starts quietly. But over time, I noticed more strain, tighter margins, more tension around money, more pressure where there used to be calm. Then one morning, I returned to the practice with full humility. Bowl, salt, water, breath, light, words, gratitude, and not just once, repeatedly, week after week. Alongside that, I tightened my habits again. I reviewed spending. I followed through faster. I asked better questions. I stopped pretending stress was wisdom. I stopped wearing panic like it proved I cared. And yes, things improved. Not because life owed me a reward, but because I had returned to alignment, inwardly and outwardly. That experience taught me something I will never forget. Knowing is not doing. Admiring wisdom is not practicing wisdom. Hearing a ritual explained means nothing until your own hands enter the water. So if this speaks to you, do not just enjoy the idea. Test it. Try it with sincerity. Give it rhythm. Let it shape the way you begin. Over the years, I have watched people from many different backgrounds use this kind of practice to create real change. A worker tired of living from one paycheck to the next began using it weekly, and with calmer choices and tighter habits, found the courage to start a small business. A single parent buried under stress used the ritual each morning to regain emotional control, and that control helped lead to better money decisions, new training, and a break from an old family pattern. A professional who looked successful on the outside but carried constant money fear on the inside used this practice to quiet hidden panic, and with that calm came better decisions, stronger boundaries, and real peace. The pattern was always the same. The people who benefited did not mock the simplicity. They respected it. They followed the steps. They stayed consistent. They paired the practice with clean action. They did not wait to be rescued. They became available to change. And if you are still here, that tells me something. Part of you is ready for a different beginning. So let's finish strong, because the final part matters more than you think. Tomorrow morning can begin like every other morning, rushed, heavy, and full of the same old thoughts. Or it can begin with a new signal. Clean hands, salt, water, light, intention, a wallet touched with purpose instead of fear. If you do it seriously. If you repeat it faithfully. And if you feel even the smallest shift, protect it. Build on it. Because sometimes a new financial life does not begin with a giant opportunity. Sometimes it begins with one quiet morning when you decide lack will not speak first anymore. And let me add one more thing before we end, because this may be the part that stays with you. Do not measure the practice too quickly. Do not say it failed because one afternoon was hard or one bill still arrived. The first change may be invisible. It may be in your breathing, in your posture, in the way you check your balance without dread, in the way you stop avoiding a hard conversation, in the way you finally open the message you kept postponing, in the way you notice a door and actually walk toward it. That is still change. That is still movement. And movement matters. Keep the ritual simple. Keep your words clean. Keep your actions honest. Keep your eyes open. Let the practice remind you that money is not something to worship, fear, or chase in shame. It is something to handle with care, with discipline, with awareness, and with self-respect. Start there. Start tomorrow. Start before the noise. And if you choose to do it, do not do it halfway. Give it your full presence. Because one focused morning can become one strong week. One strong week can become a new pattern. And a new pattern, repeated long enough, can become a new life.